people in America don't realize that millions around the world don't enjoy the same religious freedoms that we enjoy here in America. In 2011, the Pew Research Company conducted an exhaustive study on religious liberties throughout the world. What they found was shocking, that more than 70 million people, sorry, not more than 70 million, 7% of the worldwide population live in areas where there are either limited or no religious liberties whatsoever. And if you look at the media today, even the U.S. doesn't seem immune to this religious liberty persecution. Now, I have done extensive research into political philosophy, and I'm a student of government as well, so this is a very personal issue that I'm passionate about. Now, hopefully by the end of this, you guys will realize that those in the legal and political professions can really help to increase religious liberties both at home and around the world. And they do this through three specific areas: international relations, domestic legislation, and domestic policy. Now, like I said, 70% of the world's population lives in areas where there is either limited or no religious liberties whatsoever. And according to Thomas Farr, who is the leader of the Berkeley Center's Project for Religious Liberties, the most persecuted group amongst all these is Christians. Well, how can law and politics help this? And I think the most important answer is influence. And a good example of this is through Jay Sekulow, who founded the American Center for Law and Justice, also known as the ACLJ, and he and the ACLJ fight for religious liberties of those here in America and around the world every year. Well, this particular case involved with Jay Sekulow involves Youssef Nadarkhani, who is a Christian pastor in Iran who was imprisoned for his preaching of the gospel. Well, it may have taken several years, but Jay Sekulow was able to use his influence through social media and through lobbying to effectively cause Iran to release Youssef Nadarkhani from their prison. And despite the fact that most religious persecution, as we understand it, takes place around the world, recently Christians have come under fire here in America. This can be seen in the ways that atheists attack the public professions of faith of Christians, and also in ways that they've done things such as ban prayer in schools. And it seems now, as of recently, they've even taken steps to actively censor Christianity. An example of which is when the Ground Zero Cross monument that a Christian organization had put up was lobbied against and successfully taken down by an atheist organization. Now, David French, who is one of the senior counsels of the ACLU, said in August that it is necessary for us to engage attacks on religious liberties in the public square, or in this case, legislation in court, or litigation in court. Now, lawyers can argue for social reforms in court and set important precedences, and many organizations have done this, such as the Liberty Council. They fought and set many precedences for things such as the traditional marriage and the arguments against abortion. But not only is litigation important in this, but also policy. Now, Roberta COMS, who is the founder of the Christian Coalition, which is the largest conservative Christian think tank in America, has stated that Christians need to play an active role in government. Now, this can take place in certain ways, such as testifying before Congress, which is how the ACLJ and the Liberty Council have chosen to do in many cases and have gotten many places through that. Now, one of the ways they can do this is to effect legislation and defend laws protecting religious freedoms, such as the Defense of Marriage Act, which makes it illegal for homosexual marriage to take place in states where it's ratified, and also for the defending of religious programming, such as cable TV and radio shows that are for Christian purposes. This also can take place by attacking laws that violate religious liberties, such as the so-called Fairness Doctrine, which attempts to equal the time in media spent on liberal, secular sites and Christian conservative outlets, which would therefore decrease the influence of the gospel in America. Overall, religious freedom has come under fire from all directions, both at home and abroad. But there are those fighting against the encroachment of our liberties. I like to see it like this, that as of recently, secular arguments have been gaining much weight in America and abroad, which is also causing the Christian arguments to lose weight. But with those those in politics and law fighting for the gospel and for God's word, we can balance these scales out and make it more free for Christians to worship the one true God, both here at home and around